Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Thank you so much for your show of love. Thank you so much for all that you do for this community to keep growing. Hope you're well, Your Majesties, in all your ways, and you're loving yourself and others like always. Today, we were talking about our Black women, our Black queens around the world, Your Majesties. All right. Um, I just hope that we understand this to the level that we should. When you look at the Black woman in the Black community, you see a picture of strength, of motivation, and becoming emotional. Because some of us, what our mothers went through for us to be who we are today is something that we cannot overemphasize. I have talked about, no, I didn't talk about this. It was a short. I saw it and I shared it at first on the channel, and a lot of persons said things. We didn't discuss like this. It was just a short. I put it out there and it went viral, and a lot of persons said what they want to say. So today we're going to sit down, look at ourselves, and analyze this video right here.
So this lady asks, this Black lady, are white women really that scared of Black women? And I'm going to say yes. And this is my opinion as a white woman who is 53 years old and has lived in the South in Georgia my entire life. But it's not being scared, but it's a fear. And it's not a physical fear, it is the mental fear. It is what we see in you and what we see you doing and how it challenges us and the fear of that. So we see Black women and we see how strong you are. We see you coming together as a community. We see you supporting each other. We see you supporting your community, supporting your families, supporting your children, going out and fighting for your rights.
All right, that was the short clip, and it just went viral. I never knew it was going to go that viral. Sometimes many months ago, there were lots of comments, Your Majesties, even from our melanated queens, lots of comments from others who were angry that someone like them could come out and talk down on them like this. And some of our melanated queens that were like, it's not true, Black women are not supportive. Some men who were like melanated men, who were like, it's not true, our women are not what this woman have just said. Yeah, we will have our opinions because of experiences we had. All right. Personally, when I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to say, yes, it is true. Because of what I see in the community where I live, how strong our mothers were. Because a lot of times, the system has formed everything in a way that the world is now unfair to mothers, Black women. There are things that normally they shouldn't do. There are roles that normally they shouldn't be playing, but they are playing those roles. Example, being a father and a mother at the same time. This tells on their emotions. Come on, these people are not magicians. We are human beings. And when we go through things at times, we also need to be loved. But this level of love is not there. The level of love that we should have is not there. Even the little sometimes is not there. When you look at some families sometimes and see how broken, how drifted apart the parents are, it tells on the children. And then for the mother to try to cover some things, the whole thing falls on the mother. It's only a Black woman that sometimes can take some of the things that our men do. Your Majesties, my kings, I am not in any way talking down on you, but let's just be realistic here. At the time when we were coming up as little children, my father wasn't always at home. It was my mother that was into everything. She was the father, she was the mother, she was the one who buys food, she was the one who take care of our education, she was the one who does virtually everything. We hardly see our dad at home. And not just seeing him, There are responsibilities most of the times that he hardly do. And we, what did we know? Nothing. So the whole thing was on our mother. Most of the times at this stage right now where I'm in, I would just sit and sometimes I imagine what my mother was going through at that time. Our queens most of the times go through hell to keep the family going. Your Majesties. So yes to what she's saying. Because a lot of times, if the women were given opportunities, I tell you, the Black community will be at peace. And anyway, of course, it can't be good all the way. There will always be a bad egg. There will always be those that deliberately are the ones breaking their homes. I've seen women who even beat their husbands, sorry. I see women who beat their husbands. I've heard stories of it. Women beating their husband and sending them packing. And sometimes this whole thing is a Western ideology. Some things that our women learned while in the West. Where you feel, yeah, I have to beat him out. This is my house. You beat the man, throw him out with his bag, and tell him to leave the place. All right? But there are still women that are everything that have been analyzed. Yes, there is fear, and it is the truth. There is fear. Because if they can be afraid of the Black race, why wouldn't they be afraid of the melanated queens? Because it is from these queens that this race keep growing. All right? It is from these queens that these races keep growing. So of course, there will be. And the heart of a melanated woman can be soft if you want it to be, and it can be as hard as hell if you want it to be, depending on the approach you give to her. So, coming together in community, supporting the community, helping one another. Yes and no. Like I said, there's no place that you wouldn't see something wrong. All right? There are some women, melanated queens, who sometimes deliberate. They don't just want things to go on. All right? They just like the hard life. They just like that, crazy living. So even when you are struggling, they'll be dragging you down. This is seen even in some of the meetings we have in the area. Where you have women meetings, you see some, they are not majority. You see some few who do not just want peace. And I don't think this is only seen in the melanated community. This thing is everywhere. This is everywhere. But the truth still remains that when it comes to patience and taking care of children that have been abandoned most of the times by our kings, our women are 100% into these things. They can suffer. They can take anything to provide for the children. And this is where the problem comes in. All right. In as much as this is good, it has its own effect. I just hope all I'm saying is making sense. Because when a woman begins to play the role of the father, of the mother, that woman wouldn't want you to control her. Because the role of a father, which you should play as a king of the home, as a father of the home, she is playing that role. So she wouldn't give you the liberty to rule over her. Because she's taking your responsibility. And that is what brings me to, why not reconstructing, is it the right word? Why not we sit down, talk sense into our communities, to ourselves, all right? So we renew the Black community. Where it comes to the father, mother, and the children, the family life, we still have to do a lot of work as a melanated people. This is me and you right now, Your Majesty. We have to work. Because you don't expect a woman, I'm saying it again, you don't expect a woman who is taking your responsibility to be loyal to you. But a lot of men want that. A lot of majesties want that. A lot of kings want that. They want a woman who is the breadwinner of the house, who is the father, the mother, to still be a wife. And in most cases, it doesn't happen that way. Even if it has been happening, there'll be a time that she will say, no, I'm not stupid. I can't be paying your bills and you talk to me that way. Because there are lots of men that would want even to be beating their wives that go out to work and come home with money. And this will take me to the side of the queens. You don't, there are situations in life that, of course, your husband has been having it. He has been bringing home. All right. He has been coming home with something and there's something happened to his job. He doesn't have work anymore at that moment. That doesn't mean he's not going to have. At that moment, there's no job. All right. At that moment, there is no job. And then you feel like you are now the boss. Since you are earning and it is from your earnings that the children feed, it's from your earnings that the house is kept. So you start talking down on your husband. You start insulting your husband. You start shouting on your husband because you feel that you are the one providing. So he should be the wife now. No, your majesties, it doesn't happen that way. Some of us will start talking to our husband in a way that they'll be angry and they'll leave the home. Insulting these men, they can't even eat. Because the moment they go to take food to eat, look at you, shameless man. Is it not your type that is out there working and bringing food home? You are sitting down here eating. It's not like he hasn't been providing. The situation is not like before. Things changed. And he's not going to remain in that situation forever. And that's why you hear some situation where the man will be loyal at that moment. But when he or she bounces back, they end up sending the wife packing. Because when they think back to what the wife had done to them at that point where they had nothing, they feel like this is not a wife to keep in the house. They send them packing. The home is broken. The children are left without a mother. And this keeps happening in the society. Yes, in our community as a Black people, yes. So there are things, in as much as this is true, she said it all, we are strong. All right, we come together. We got each other's back. But we have to work more. We have to do it more. There are other things that we have to church on it. Naturally, we are powerful. Spiritually, we are strong. And they know these things. We have to love our kings more. Our husbands more, we have to respect them. When they have it and when they do not have it, we have to understand. There should be more understanding when it comes to family life between the husband and the wife. Because our children learn these things. They learn these things. When a man beats the wife, always, the child learns it. You think the child are just small. This is 1 year, or 2 years, or the child just 8 months. These children pick these things. Because we think, no, they don't know what we are doing. They know. That's why you have to be careful with what you do in the presence of a little child. Because these children are the future. So any evil we do in the presence of these children, they grow with it. That's why we have to be careful with what we do to our kings as a mother, to what we do to our queens as a father in the melanated community. So that we can shame the devil that keeps saying that unity and peace can never be, because there have been a lot of them under the comment section saying it's not true. They don't see it. They only see Black women fighting. They only see Black women insulting themselves. They only see Black women beaten by their husband or being beaten by, or all these things. They only see broken Black women who do not have husbands at home because their husbands come to them. And that's for you, your majesties, who go to them. What are you looking for? I don't know. When you have queens in the house, you have gold at home, you leave it to go for. Anyway, your majesties, leave your comment and thought in the other section, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself and love others. Stay safe, stay positive. Always, your majesties. Bye for now.